Yeah, Jason back for another quick update on the new build. Went ahead and got a few other things delivered in the mail, and a few other things still on their way. So it's coming along slowly, but I'm gonna get the system basically where I wanted it to be. I pretty much mapped everything out and starting from the ground up. And honestly, this part, the building part, is probably one of the funnest parts. So like if you're getting into this for the first time or you're watching this and you're a new getting into the hobby for the first time, like take your time, build the thing right. And this part alone is can be a lot of fun. I mean, once the system's up, and all that time and that you take when you're setting up a new system, researching new products and stuff like that, it's actually quite a bit of fun. So um, in the last video I didn't have filter socks in here, and the lighting was in here, it was kind of terrible, and you couldn't really see it. So I threw the socks in there just so you can kind of see how that part of the sump works. You got the two holes up top there in case the socks ever got clogged, it would overflow into the equipment area from there. But otherwise, there's two openings at the bottom there for when the filter socks aren't clogged. Now, in this hobby, a couple of the things, and like I said, if you're watching this and you're setting up a new system for the first time, I would say like the two most important pieces of filtration equipment in your system would probably be the filter socks themselves for pulling out huge, particulate matter that's going to just break down in your system and turn into ammonia and go through the cycle process. Like you can remove that from your system sooner, um, the better your water quality is going to be. Typically every couple of days I would swap out filter socks, and that part of the hobby I absolutely hate. Um, it's just something that's always had to be done. Now, I just recently watched a video on BRS where they were discussing this Feely roller mat, I believe it's called, and if you're starting off, it's like a $300 piece of equipment, but that thing could probably be more effective than your skimmer itself, which you're probably going to pay more than $300 for. So, um, if I would have known about that before I actually had my sump built here, you wouldn't be looking at this sump. I would have had that. I would have bought that thing, sent that roller mat system to Synergy, with who built my sump, and had them incorporate that right into my sump. Um, but I didn't, so the system will be filter socks until they can come up with a system where I can put something like that in here and fit it incorporate it into my system without having to change my sump. I paid quite a bit of money for this sump, and I'm already regretting that I don't have that. So it is what it is. But it's a nice piece of equipment, and I wish I had one. The other things I picked up a HANA checker and an alkalinity checker. The 2016 Apex controller, the DDR, which is the two-part canister for alkalinity and calcium, and the dose. Um, the other thing in the hobby that I hate doing is water changes, and spending your weekend a couple hours, changing out 20 or 40 gallons or whatever. Not only does it kind of affect the chemistry in the aquarium, changing all that water out at once, but it's a pain in the butt. And that's outside of changing filter socks, that's probably the only thing I hate worse. Taking a second to clean the collection cup, no big deal. But anyone that's been in this hobby long enough, pulling out filter socks is messy. So, and if you're right now, I have carpet in here. I'm going to be moving before. I'm actually not going to be setting this up in the house I'm in right now, but I'm hoping that I'll have hardwood in the next house. But dripping filter sock water on your carpet, like you can be as careful as you want, but eventually it happens, So just be prepared for that. But to eliminate water changes, I think what I'm gonna do is buy like a several hundred gallon container, make up several hundred gallons of salt water, maybe once, well, I guess how often the thing goes empty, and buy another dose and exchange a gallon or two a day, over the course of a day using this thing. In the past, with most dosing systems, I wouldn't have trusted them to be strong enough, built well enough, and reliable enough to do it. But this thing, if you haven't seen one up close, this thing's a monster. And I believe, they advertise that it can do it, and looking at it, to me it looks like it can. So that'll be my next thing. I mean, just look at the size of that thing. I mean, that's a dosing pump. It's as big as my hand. Like, that thing's a monster. So that'll be my next thing. I got to figure out how to get a gigantic container now. I don't know what those things are called. I've seen them. They're like basically sitting on a pallet wrapped in like a metal cage, big plastic container in a metal cage, big square thing. If anyone's watching this video and knows where I can get one of those or what they're called, let me know. But I believe that's it for today. I'm working with a guy at 8020.net on building the stand, but that's kind of on hold right now. I'm still waiting. I got about 3-4 weeks before the company that built my sump, Synergy, sends me my overflow system, and then I'll take that over, have the tank built. Once I have the tank built, then I'll have the stand built. But before I do that, I'm probably going to move and see where I'm going to set up at the new house, and what kind of space I'm working with before I go any further. So I did order an RODI system, a new one here, with keeping in mind that I'm going to be trying to move over to doing automatic water changes using the Apex in the DOS, second one. So I might stop back here in a week or two once I get that all delivered and do an update on that. But that's going to be it for today. So leave any comments if you got anything. The banter in this hobby is part of the fun. So I hope you enjoyed it, and see you soon.